PLC stands for Professional Learning Community. And what it is basically it's this ongoing process that we're going to have throughout all of our schools, our district, in which we work together in recurring cycles to collect information and data to achieve better results for our students. In a PLC, there are really three big ideas and three words that you want to remember, which are learning, collaborative, and accountability. So in a PLC, we accept learning as the fundamental purpose of our school, and then therefore we're willing to examine all practices in light of their impact on learning of our students. The second one is collaborative, and that means that we're going to be committed to working together as a school, as a district. And the last one is accountability, where we assess our effectiveness of the basis of results rather than our intentions or individuals, teams, and schools. They seek relevant data and information, and then we use that data and that information to continue improvement. There was a quote that I really liked that we got from the conference, and it says, "The path to change in the classroom lies within and through professional learning communities."
According to research, our current system isn't working. Potential dropouts can be predicted as early as first grade and identified with accuracy by third grade. And more than 1/3 of students entering college need remedial courses. Findings from many studies suggest that participation in professional learning communities with one's colleagues is an integral part of the professional learning that impacts positively on students. If teachers are to change, they need to participate in professional learning communities that are focused on becoming responsive to students.
One of the main things that I took away from the conference is basically what a PLC is and what a PLC is not. And I think oftentimes, teachers meet together with their grade level teams or their vertical team and they talk business. They talk about the upcoming field trip or the school dance or what needs to be done, a school supplies list, but that's not what a PLC is meant for. A PLC is student focused and focused on student learning. So what a PLC should look like is teachers coming together, putting student work out on the table, talking about it. What are next steps? How are we going to get our students to achieve at the next level and make sure that all students achieve to mastery?
So there are 4 key questions that we're going to be answering within our PLCs. And the first question is, what do our students need to know this year? So we're going to be working with our content teachers to really break down the standards and see what's an essential standard that our students need to know and what are some of the non-essential standards. And we're still going to teach all the standards, but if a student doesn't understand one of the essential standards, that's when we're really going to have all hands on deck and make sure that student somehow gets that information, tutoring, interventions, and things like that. The second key question of the PLC is, how are we going to know if students have mastered those standards? And we're going to work with common assessments and create those common assessments with our fellow teachers. And after we give those common assessments, we're going to break down the data and work with our teachers to really dive deep and see what we need to do with that data. For example, if all of my students score an 80% on an assessment, I might think that that's great, but if I go to the other Algebra 2 teacher and all of her students scored 100%, then we can work together and I can pick her brain and see what I can do better as a teacher to make sure my students are achieving at even higher levels. The third key question of the PLC is, what are we going to do if our students don't master these standards? And that's when we're going to use our intervention, tutoring, and just really make sure that our students are going to understand these essential standards, and we need to build that into our curriculum with those intervention times. The fourth question of the PLC is, what are we going to do if our students already know these standards? And that's when we're going to build in enrichment for those students so that they can progress even farther in their learning.
One thing I took away from the PLC conference is that if we understand that a PLC is a collaborative team, that it has to be built on a foundation of positivity. So in order to change your school culture and make the collaborative teams more effective, you have to create a positive environment for the teachers and for the students. One of the ways that we can do this is holding each other accountable for our PLC meetings. So making sure that you're at your meeting on time, that you show up to your meeting, that your meeting is actually focused, data-driven, focused on student learning. Also, another thing that I took away was that creating that positive culture will really create a trickle-down effect. So administration, teachers, creating that positive environment will help the students see a more positive environment for learning. You can have things such as different ways that you can positively affect the teachers, creating rewards, not just the students, but the teachers and their PLCs, giving each other positive compliments or comments or things that we've done great as far as student learning and celebrating the small things that we have achieved.
I guess the burning question becomes, where do we begin? I believe we begin at the top. We have started with our central office who believes in this. They've sent us to places to learn about it and bring it back to the group. Mr. Muhammad made a statement in his presentation where he said all means all. So we all need to climb aboard the bus and get the bus moving forward. I believe that the definition of a healthy school culture states that educators have an unwavering belief in the ability of their students to achieve success and pass that belief on to others in overt and covert ways. Educators create policies and procedures and adopt practices that support their belief in the ability of every student. There's a balance between accountability and support. We've begun the support, we now need to begin the accountability and get everybody on the bus.
PLCs make sense to me because in order for our students to truly reach their potential, we as educators need to realize that one individual trying to solve a problem is not going to be greater than a group of teachers trying to solve the same problem.
The whole staff was given a list of the participants that have attended the PLC conference, so you have the resources. It's up to you to seek them out and get this ball rolling.
And honestly, PLCs are going to be really powerful for our students here in Covington, so we all are very excited to work together to make this the best year yet.